If you have questions or suggestions for future podcasts, please submit them in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. The market gives the poor a raise. Hi, I'm Dave Arnott, the Christian Economist. The Democrat Party has given up on caring for the poor via minimum wage, and the market has taken over that role. An article in the Wall Street Journal this week declares, quote, biggest pay raises went to black workers, young people, and low-wage earners, end quote. Now the subtitle reads, median weekly earnings rose 7.4% last year, outpacing inflation. Some groups notched double-digit gains, end quote. For decades, Democrats claimed to be the patron of the poor by calling for increases in the minimum wage. Well then, strangely, they went silent on the issue. Either they learned some Christian economics or they had more fun causing inflation that harmed the poor. I don't know, but I do know this. The economic fact is that the federal minimum wage of $7.25 an hour has been underwater for many years now. Now, when a minimum wage is below the equilibrium wage, we call that non-binding. So for many semesters now in my econ class at Dallas Baptist University, I've been pointing out that the Buc-ee's starting wage of $12 an hour is well above the federal minimum wage. The Trump economy revisited. Now, quoting from the Wall Street Journal article again, black workers, young workers, and people on the bottom of the income scale were among those who saw the largest pay increases last year when employees were readily handing out raises in a tight labor market and high inflation environment, end quote. Tight labor markets are good for the poor. Now, the last time we saw the poor get rich at a faster rate than the rich got rich was during the incredible economic growth produced by the Trump administration's tax cutting. Now, that swelled the pockets of the poor faster than any government program ever has done. Now, the big difference is this. During the Trump administration, inflation was below 2%, and it's now in the 7% range. But the Christian Economist rejoices when the poor make progress, especially when they make more progress than the rich. Okay, here's some more data. The median raise for black Americans employed full-time was 11.3% compared with the prior year. Weekly pay for workers between the ages of 16 and 24 rose more than 10%. The bottom 10% of wage earners, those that make about $570 a week, saw their pay increase by nearly 10%. Sorry, Mr. Piketty. He's the guy who's always reminding the nimble-minded about the gap between the rich and the poor. Well, according to the Wall Street Journal, it just narrowed. Oh, Mr. Piketty was busy in 2021, publishing the book titled A Brief History of Equality. Yeah, maybe that history got extended since folks got more equal, as reported. And he made another contribution to free market capitalism by offering the book for sale titled Time for Socialism. Get the hypocrisy? He's selling a book for profit in a free market economy titled Time for Socialism. If it really was time for socialism, wouldn't he be practicing the dicta, from each according to his ability and to each according to his need, by offering the book for free? Yeah. Don't miss the point. If Mr. Piketty really wanted to narrow economic gaps, he could start with trying to narrow the gap between his book sales and mine. See, that kind of inequality seems just fine with him. See, this is where Christianity and economics cross. They both believe in self-interest, and Mr. Piketty is a perfect example. The Christian Economist has never been concerned with the gap between the rich and the poor, but only about the state of the poor. Our question is always, are they doing better? And the answer over and over again is yes. You see, Thomas Sowell was right when he said, envy was once considered to be one of the 7 deadly sins, before it became one of the most admired virtues under its new name, social justice. Yep, perhaps the greatest living economist, Thomas Sowell is correct, both economically and biblically. Now, it was number 10 on the list that God gave Moses, and it makes an appearance on the list that Sergei Sidamatov and I produced in our book, Biblical Economic Policy. It's called Don't Covet. The value of education. I just told my sophomores at Dallas Baptist University this week that each year of college education increases their pay by 10%. Now, that historical data is correct. In the future, I'm not smart enough to make that calculation, but the market is. Quoting the Wall Street Journal article again, the annual rate of wage growth for workers with less than a high school diploma touched a recent peak in the second quarter of 2022 when it was up 11.1% over the prior year, higher than the 7.6% wage growth during that period for workers with a bachelor's degree or higher. Okay, are we finally seeing some inversion here? We've heard everyone from the dirty jobs guy Mike Rowe to tech entrepreneur Peter Thiel and American Enterprise Institute scholar Charles Murray complaining about too many people going to college. Now, I have to be careful here because education is what I produce for a living, but you can't fool the market. It knows where to put the wage increases, and it looks like it has finally figured out that fixing air conditioners and serving fast food are valuable professions. Those of us who follow the Christian worldview have known that for a long time. Work is good. That's one of the key concepts among the 10 biblical commandments of economics that my co-author and I discovered while writing the book Biblical Economic Policy. The work done by the graduates I've been producing for 30 years at Dallas Baptist University is not more important than the work done by graduates of vocational schools. If you think so, just try calling a liberal arts graduate to fix a plumbing leak or run the electric lines for that new youth building at your church. All work is good. Yeah, okay, with a few exceptions for prostitution and illegal drug dealing. But in the whole, or ceteris paribus, as we say in social science, generally, all work is good. I've been saying that for a long time, that the market can't discriminate. That was a theme of my podcast number 33 titled Ending Discrimination. It just makes sense. If you discriminate against a group, you lose either their supply of labor or their demand for your products and services. I will proudly quote Thomas Sowell twice in the same podcast. He points out that the bus line that discriminated against Rosa Parks was a public bus line because they could afford it. Private bus lines could not afford it. That's good for us to remember as we see finger wagging from social justice warriors telling us that we need to cede more power to the government where they can afford to discriminate. Those wealthy Walmart employees. I will close with another data point about poor workers getting richer. The Wall Street Journal also published an article touting Walmart to raise starting hourly wages to $14 from $12. The article points out that after the increase, Walmart, the largest private employer in the United States, will pay the employees an average of around $17.50 an hour. But wait, there's more good news from Molly World. The changes also include new, higher-paying roles in its auto care centers, expanded benefits as part of its subsidized college degree program for workers, and the expansion of a program that trains existing employees to become Walmart truck drivers. So, do I understand this correctly? The largest private employer in America is showing care and concern for its employees by offering them training that will lead to higher paying jobs. I thought this was the corporation that liberals love to hate, but not today. And their major competitor, Amazon, what are they doing? The same article states, Amazon, which recently announced plans to cut more than 18,000 jobs, mostly in its corporate ranks, said in September that it was increasing average starting pay for its frontline warehouse employees from $18 an hour to more than $19. Okay, for all those bleeding heart liberals who complain about the multiples and income earned by white-collar executives, this is time for y'all to listen. Amazon is cutting white-collar jobs so they can spend more on blue-collar laborers. The market never takes a day off if we will just let it function. And today, it is serving the poor. As former Speaker of the House Dick Armey said in a chapel address at Dallas Baptist University many years ago, the market is smart, government is dumb. Let's rejoice that the market just gave the poor a raise. I'm Dave Arnott, the Christian Economist. Fear God, tell the truth, earn a profit. See you next time. For more information, please visit us online at davearnott.com. If you have questions or suggestions for future podcasts, please submit them online or in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.